why do the Sikhs choose to be part of India and not have their own country? Here's some promises that Gandhi said, yeah? Let God be the witness of the bond that binds me in the Congress to you, the Sikhs. Okay? Our Sikh friends have no reason to fear that we would betray them. Yeah? For the moment it does so, Congress, yeah? Congress would not only seal its own doom, but that of the country as well. So if we betray the Sikhs, India will be doomed. Right? Why? Because the Sikhs are brave people. They know how to safeguard their rights. By the exercise of arms, he's talking about the Kirpan here, yeah? Sikhs are Shastrtari, they know how to defend themselves, to defend their rights. And then he says, look, they would have perfect justification before God and man. That if we betrayed them, they could use those arms of theirs to get themselves freedom. This is what he's saying in 1931 to the Sikhs. Yeah? No constitution would ever be acceptable to the Congress which did not satisfy the Sikhs. Gandhi saying again, okay, in his collected works. Nehru, let's look at what he said, his promises. He said the brave Sikhs of Punjab are entitled to special consideration out of all the people in India. Yeah? Why? He said, I see nothing wrong in an area and a setup in the north. So a jaga and a situation which is federal. Remember, India is a federal government. Yeah? The idea was that the currency and defense would be done by the federal government, okay, and every state would be semi-autonomous apart from that. But the Sikhs were aware of what the Hindus were like and what India was like. Yeah? They weren't dumb people that just accepted all these promises. And I'm going to show you a letter now by one of our foremost intellectuals, Puran Singh. He says, look, there are Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians, Parsis and Jains in India, but there are very few Indians. Yeah? Means everybody thinks about their own group. They don't think nationally. Hence, we think, said to England, you already know how to run the government and utilize the country in your own ways for your own good. You're only going to use us, he says. Why? Whatever may be the case, our suspicion is that you did not and perhaps do not mean to help us to true freedom. So what is the scenario facing the Sikhs? Because this is the key thing here. Whenever we think about independence, most people, I'm sure, including me, have said, why did we not take our own country then? Now, if our own country of Punjab, if the whole of Punjab at that time was given to us, Sikhs would have been 20% of the population. The rest would have been Hindu and Muslim. Who would ever want their own country with a 20% of the population? The problem was the system was going to be given to us by the British. And the system was democracy. Yeah? And that's what killed the Sikhs. I think in a way we'd lost our independent thinking by that time. Yeah? We lost the idea of Raj Kariya Khalsa. Yeah? Lost the idea of saying, well actually, no, we don't want democracy. Yeah? We don't think it's right for our country, we choose our own system. Yeah? Sikhs had to choose their system. And it'd been so long since Ranjit Singh's Raj. It's been over 100 years since the Raj was there. 1939 when our Raj was gone. And the British had kind of brought all this politics and all this kind of, you know, committee system into the Sikh community. It was hard for us to think outside that framework and start going back to the Panj Pyare system, the kind of independent Sikh thinking. Yeah? So our mentality was kind of gone and they were a little bit unsure about themselves. Yeah? They weren't like, you know what, we can run our own country, that's fine. Yeah, no matter what happens, we'll take it anyway. Sawa lakh se ek dano. We kind of lost that mentality. And people were worried. And they didn't have that much faith in their Guru, that their Guru Sahib would protect them when they had their own country. And in a way, they chose the safe option. Yeah? The safe option at that time looked like, let's just show in India. Okay? So, basically, the system isn't set up yet, but they've set the date. It's like, you know, we're going to book the marriage, right? But don't know who's going to get married to who. How's it going to be? Do you know what I mean? Crazy system. Have you heard of the Radcliffe line? If you haven't, look on the picture, it's the red bit. Yeah? This is the line that divides India and Pakistan. It was drawn up by a guy. He knows that August 15th is going to be independence. He arrives on the 8th of July to India, given 5 weeks to draw a line between India and Pakistan. They picked somebody independent because they didn't want to get the details to leak out as well. Yeah? No details of the line were leaked out. No one knew where it was going to be until the very last moment. This was a key part of the plan, to spring it on people. You are now in Pakistan, you are now in India. Yeah? Why would they do that? Why not tell people weeks and months in advance so they can start moving across? No. Puran Singh said this is going to be unavoidable, that killings would happen because of what you're doing. He was warned, didn't care much. Radcliffe, yeah, destroyed all of his papers about how he worked out where the line was going to go. Now, you don't do that stuff unless you got something to hide. And this line was drawn in 5 weeks. They divided India. Okay, and because of this line, a lot of people died. 1 million people died. August 1947, okay, independence. There is a mass movement of people. All the Muslims in the local areas want to go to Pakistan. Yeah, all the Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan want to get across to India. Okay, and to hasten that cause and not to make them stay there, right? There's killings happening on both sides. You to see Jao, don't stay here, kill. 40% of all the Sikhs that were alive at that time became refugees. It impacted the Sikhs the worst, this line. After all the loyalty, they might say, oh, we've done so much for the British government, why did you go and plan, 1984? Well, look what happened in 47, only 60 years ago. 65 years ago, yeah? After all the loyalty of the British soldiers in First World War, Second World War, they drew a line right through our homeland, knowing that it would kill the Sikhs the most. Yeah? 40% of our Panth became refugees. Massacres, over 1 million died. Okay, there were stories of murder, rape, suicide, disease. Okay, loads of people died. Okay, it was just sick. There was rumors from all sides. They've killed these many people. We need to kill some people back. There was retaliation murders. A train would come over to Pakistan full of dead Muslims. So then they would send back a train full of dead Hindus and Sikhs. Then they would send back one back saying, you stop this, or we will send one back. It was horrific. You imagine a train rolling up with like 500, 6 dead people on it, sent in as a message to don't do this again. If you were traveling and you got ill, that's it. There's no ilaj then. What were they going to do? Take you to hospital where? Which hospital? Who do you trust? Yeah. So loads of people died that way as well. Yeah. A lot of children lost their mothers. A lot of lot of bad stuff happened during that time. 1 million people dying is nothing small. There's 10% of the people that moved died basically. So what happens? Punjab gets split. Now Lahore was always our political capital. I want you to bear this in mind. Yeah, Maharaja Ranjit Singh's kingdom was run from Lahore. Lahore is only 19 kilometers from Amritsar. So these two cities were like our twin. The spiritual center of the Sikhs and the political capital of the Sikh kingdom was in Lahore. So Lahore was full of Sikhs. Yeah, and it goes to Pakistan. The question here is, had India ever really been a country? Who made India? India was made by the British. It always been princely states. Yeah, it never been a country. So the problem is, it's made into a country, and everybody's of diverse interests. Puran Singh's letter you just read out, they all got their own little communal groups, and then they're stuffed into one country. Yeah, and the question is, who's in charge? That's the only question on anybody's lips. Who will run the country? Because they know whoever's in charge, he's got the soti, he's going to make you go in it. Now Sikhs talked to Nehru about their rights, given what he'd promised in 1944. This is what he says. He goes, the time has changed now. If you wanted to live freely, then why don't you demand for a separate country from the British? This is 3 years after what he's promised. Nehru now, again, the Sikhs are a lawless people and a menace to the law-abiding Hindus. Not just like all Sikhs, yeah? The government should take strict measures against them. Puran Singh's words coming to truth, isn't it, basically? And this is what he says in 61. Okay? Kya main takht dushman ke haath mein de dun? Should I give power to my enemies then? Because the Sikhs at that time are asking for the Punjabi Suba, their own. And he goes, should I give it to them then? Give power to the Sikhs. And he sees them as dushman. Yeah? So as far as he's concerned, India should be run by the Hindus. It's Hindustan. Yeah? And Sikhs need to understand what their role is within India. That they're the slaves, not the masters.